Good afternoon. Thanks for the kind introduction. Good afternoon to the chairman, the moderator, and the panelists. I would be talking about cataracts with retinal vein occlusions. So we would be discussing on what should we watch out in the anterior segment examination. Is fundus evaluation important? What if the fundus picture is hazy? The role of FFA and angiosity and role of intravitreals. So as we all know, cataract surgery, after cataract surgery, there's increased arachidonic and prostaglandin secretions due to the activation of the cyclooxygenase and the lipooxygenase pathway, which increases the vascular permeability, thus leading to increased cystoid macular edema. Now, abnormalities in the superficial and deep capillary plexus were common in retinal vein occlusion patients. Thus, patients with RVO could be more prone to the development of macular edema when compared to the counterparts without a retinal vein occlusion. So what do we see in the anterior segment, and why is anterior segment evaluation that important? In the anterior segment evaluation, first we should look for the pupillary reaction. This gives us a clue towards the optic nerve functioning. Should look for NVI, increase the magnification of your slit lamp, look into the pupillary margin for thin frilly vessels, and always check the intraocular pressure because patients with glaucoma are more prone to develop RVOs. In the fundus evaluation, a dilated tortuous vessels with hemorrhages in all quadrants with disc hyperemia, soft exudates, and macular edema points towards CRVO, whereas the dilated tortuous vessels with the above features in one quadrant would point towards the branch retinal vein occlusion. Both might be associated with vitreous hemorrhages. So let us go into some of the cases. Then this patient presented to us for cataract surgery. She was a 55-year-old female, known hypertensive for 10 years with a defective vision for 1 year. Best corrected visual acuity in the left eye was 6/24. On dilated fundus evaluation, we saw that there was seeding of the inferotemporal quadrant vessels with some hemorrhages and probable areas of new vascularization. So when an angio-OCT was done, it clearly showed that there was macular ischemia with enlargement of the foveal avascular zone with CNP areas and new vessels. So the patient was injected with anti-VEGF and was called for review without doing a cataract surgery. My second patient was a 68-year-old female, known diabetic and hypertensive for the past 12 years, defective vision for past 6 months with intraocular pressures of 18 millimeters of mercury, best corrected visual acuity of 6/60. On fundus examination, there was hemorrhages in almost all the quadrants with seeding of the vessels, which probably pointed out towards a old central retinal vein occlusion. And there were some anastomosing vessels also found over the disc, which also pointed out towards the chronicity of the disease. Now, OCT showed chronic macular edema because there was loss of septae in the macular area region, and the outer retinal layers were deranged. So this pointed out that even though we would give a treatment, the patient would not gain back much of the vision and might require number of injections. When an angio-OCT was done, it showed that there was increased foveal avascular zone both in the superficial and in the deep plexus, and this also pointed out towards a macular ischemia. So the patient was given injection but was explained about the prognosis of the disease and then was taken up for the surgery. Now, this was a 75-year-old female, known hypertensive for 10 years, and with treatment for open angle glaucoma on prostaglandin inhibitors, the intraocular pressure were controlled with a grade 3 nucleus sclerosis with best corrected visual acuity of counting fingers. Dilated fundus examination, though, was very hazy. We could see some amount of hemorrhages here and there. When the OCT was done, it showed a huge amount of macular edema. So this patient was injected with anti-VEGF injections, but after anti-VEGF injection, there was a traction over the foveal area. So this patient was taken up for surgery, cataract surgery, along with vitrectomy. Now, the role of anti-VEGFs in RVO is well found in the literature. The risk of post-surgical CME in uncomplicated cataract surgery was 30 times higher if the operated eye had a history of RVO, and this risk persisted even in eyes without preoperative macular edema. Patients with cataract who are actively managed for macular edema due to RVO with anti-VEGF do good after cataract. My next patient was a 72-year-old male, known diabetic hypertensive for 10 years, had a stroke 3 months back. Intraocular pressures were normal, had a grade 3 nuclear sclerosis with a lot of hemorrhages. There was a huge macular edema seen in the posterior pole. This patient was injected with dexamethasone implant, and dexamethasone implant has been widely used for RVO patients. With phacoemulsification IL implantation, it appears to be safe and effective procedure for treating patients with concurrent macular edema and cataract. And there was significant improvement of BCVA and central macular thickness after surgery. So my take-home message would be a thorough examination of both anterior and posterior segment is essential before cataract surgery to prognosticate the disease, to explain visual prognosis to the patient post-cataract surgery, avoid steroids in patients with glaucoma, avoid anti-VEGF injections with recent history of stroke or take a cardiological clearance, and OCT should be included for all preoperative evaluations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanghamitra. Saurabh, what is the pattern? Either we go for the discussion now or later?
I think, Sanjay, you can start discussing which cases, no?
For this case, I think we should.
Here now, and maybe 1-2 questions. Saurabh, do you agree with me? One presentation, let it be finished first.
Yeah. So I think, Dr. Satyan, you have any comments on this?
Yeah, so let me ask one thing, Dr. Sangha.
You are not audible.
Is it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you are audible, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, now it is fine.
Yeah, so anyway, you are trying to give a glimpse that whenever there is BRVO or CRVO or any retinal problem, before doing cataract surgery, we have to be very careful. Now, let me tell you, the cases, most of the patients, whenever they come for a cataract surgery, these patients, actually, they are not that much concerned about the posterior segment problem. So before going for any cataract surgery, first you have to make them convinced that you have, apart from cataract, there are some other problem, and we have to address that first. In cases wherever you can take a fundus photo or you can take a clear OCT, then you have to discuss with this patient, this is your problem, and cataract surgery may not help you even after the operation. So you have to make the patient convinced that first, then go ahead with your posterior segment treatment, and whenever patient feels that yes, I also want my cataract surgery to be done, knowing all this prognostic status, then only you go ahead with the cataract surgery. That is my suggestion.